Ciao, buonasera, and welcome to the fourth round of the Virtual Motorsport Series Silver Split, here at the Virtual Motorsport Series live on YouTube. Today we are racing at the Temple of Speed, the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza in Italy. My name is Ferre Koman. I'm once again joined by Daniel Krylov here in the commentary booth. This is the track that we're racing at tonight, for 5.7 kilometers long, 10 meters of elevation change, so quite flat. Of course, with the famous first corner, the Varianta del Rettifiglio, pretty much 90-degree right-hander, sector 2 there with the two Lesmos, and then Varianta Ascari towards the well-famous Parabolica corner. Just 11 corners on this very high-speed track where a lot of carnage can and will happen, especially in that first corner that I talked about. Daniel, we are set for a spectacle here at the Temple of Speed. As I said, a lot of carnage can and will happen. As we look at the results last time out, 2 weeks ago already. Of course, we had a small mid-season break. We raced at Fuji back then with Axel Ramonet taking the win in LMGT3. So we are moving straight into qualifying for LMGT3. But Daniel, this track, we spoke about it a little earlier before the broadcast. It will divide people, of course. It's a very tricky track to race. So what can we expect tonight?
First of all, hello everyone. I think we will expect like quite a lot of racing. It's a very high speed. It's not called the Temple of Speed for it's called for a reason. And we'll see lots of fighting, lots of overtakes, hopefully, and there's a high potential for some minor or major incidents today.
There sure is. As we look at the overall standings for the LMGT3, it is Clemens Keinsel on 58 points in the lead. He's driving the Ferrari LMGT3 car with Michael Thomas in P2 and Marco Galetti in P3. Clemens Keinsel is yet to miss out on a podium during the season. He took third place in Spa, first in Qatar, and second last time out in Fuji. So he is on a roll here and could extend that championship lead big time tonight if he manages to maintain the podium again. Michael Thomas won the first race out in Spa, got 12 points in Qatar, so finishing P4 that is, and had a DNS. He did not start the race last time at Fuji, but he is still in P2, so he is still very much in contention for the higher podium places with Galetti in P3. The points down there are quite narrow, of course. As you can see, Galetti on 27 points, but Alessandro Alfano in P7 is on 24 points. So only 3 points dividing those 5 places there, with Tuparon P4, Ramonet P5, and Alexo Bailey in P6 in the Lexus. Both Lexus cars perform very well in this championship so far. It is Matteo Pecci in P8 and Chris Vinning P9 and Stefano Di Nardo in P10, all driving the Aston Martin there. So it is quite a close championship, especially for those final podium spot. But Daniel, Clemens Keinsel there, he looks to be the favorite for this season so far.
Yeah, surely. His driving was outstanding all season around. He was really performing and giving it his all, whether it is in qualifying and especially in the race. It's just fabulous to see him driving and performing this well in this championship. And yeah, he's the man to look up at. He's like the benchmark for every one of these GT3 drivers in this field. So yeah, it's so far a superb season by him, and I don't expect anything less.
It sure is. As we are looking at the LMGT3 cars, they've started their qualifying session. It is 25 minutes for in total, so 10 to 15 minutes for the LMGT3, and then the final 15-10 minutes are for the hypercar. It's all in one session, but they're not out on track at the same time. This is so we can see all these lap times in one session here, as we see Robin Duperon coming through the first sector in the Lexus car. That's Aston Martin, apologies. So coming through the Lesmos into the second sector, like I said, it's a very high speed corner here. 50 meters on the brakes into Lesmo 2. Very high speed, only 11 corners here. So top speed is the most important factor here on this track. And I would expect that slipstream is going to be quite a big player here as well. If you can get a nice slipstream during qualifying, it could set you up nicely, gaining a few tenths here and there as he comes through, hitting the big sausage curbs there on the exit, but he keeps it nice and clean. coming through Variante Ascari, and he is going to be the first one to set somewhat of a lap time, but it won't be as competitive, of course, with the cold tires that he has at the moment. So, Daniel, I'm gonna throw you a little under the bus here, but like I said, we spoke about it a little earlier. This is not your favorite track, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I don't know. I think to watch it or to commentate even, it's really great. I just not like being in the car at the same time. It's really something. It's unique. It's great for racing. No questions. But it's of course a very how should I put it? It's favoring some drivers who are driving quite aggressively. It's rewarding. It's sometimes high risk, diving like from far away, and can be rewarded. But yeah, it's not always like have the best outcome for the best driver. For me personally, but we'll see how these guys will perform today, and I'm sure they will keep everything, and they will try to keep everything tidy. And yeah, I think there are no intentions to wreck anyone in this championship or in any championship of this VMS. It's when it's just like an incident or something like that.
I'm sure nobody is out there going for blood this race. As you can see in the YouTube chat, we have a poll there. You can vote in it who will, I'm guessing, who will take the pole position here tonight in LMGT3. Axel Ramonet, Clemens Keinsel, Michael Thomas, or Marco Galetti. If you think anyone else can take the pole position, please do mention so in the chat, of course. But those are the 4 options in the poll, so please do fill it in. It's nice for us to see what you guys think. As we see Michael M. Thomas here setting a very quick lap time, 2 purple sectors so far. He could be on for provisional pole position that he already has there with a 50.8. It is Vela in P2, 4 tenths behind Axel Bailey, 7 tenths behind in the Lexus. Dorito in the Porsche, 8 tenths behind him as well. With Clemens Keinsel so far, our championship leader, a second behind him in P6. Of course, there's still some time to go for these guys, as Alfano now goes quickest overall. And there is Keinsel. He does put in his official pole position, and Michael and Thomas is 8 thousandths of a second slower than Clemens Keinsel. So the two championship leaders there going at it quite early here in the qualifying session. For those of you who might have noticed, in P10 currently is Alexander Radoskovic. He was driving in the Bronze Series, but he has made a promotion to the Silver Series. You will see multiple drivers throughout the whole championship, the Bronze, Gold, and the Series as well. You might see some drivers that you haven't seen before, but have made the jump up to a new series. So Alexander Radoskovic, I think he's only 15 or 16 years old, so a very young driver, but a very quick driver. So it's going to be exciting for him. It's going to be exciting to see what he can do here tonight. So far, it is Clemens Keinsel still on provisional pole position, and Thomas, who is, as I mentioned, 21 points behind him in the championship, is in P2. But Radoskovic here setting a purple sector 1, so the Ferrari does seem to have some nice top speed here, Daniel. Of course, it is a home race for them, so they'll be hoping. Well, I think that's just the gravel, but the Ferrari drivers will be hoping for a good result here.
For sure. I think it's always like in sim racing, it's maybe not like this big of a thing because you don't have a team and everything, which are coming from the same like country. But it's always a nice thing, and I don't want to say Easter egg or something, but it's quite nice to have your home car win a home race or perform well. It's kind of crossing the line to go on and improve his lap time and essentially go 2 tenths faster than Thomas.
Yes, a very good lap time from him indeed. It puts him 2 tenths clear of Michael Thomas there, who is still in P2. Meanwhile, the pole, right now it is Clemens Keinsel who is in the lead of the pole with 62% of the votes. So most of you guys think that he will take pole position here tonight with Axel Ramonet in P2. He is currently he is now in P1 as he improved there. So perfect timing there in the Porsche 992. There we have him, the number 90 car, the white Porsche. He does go even quicker than Clemens Keinsel, 3/10 clear with a 49.5. So, well, if you haven't voted already, maybe now this is the time to pick Axel Ramonet there for the pole position. But the Porsche clearly working very well here in his hands. It is a quicker Sector 1 still in this one of his final laps there. Well, climbing over the curbs there. You want to get the car as straight as possible, as early as possible, and get on the power again. And just throw it into the corners here. A lot of curb on the exit as well. Whoa, oh, close to track limits there, but I think he is on the safe side. Through Lesmo 2, and now towards Ascari, the insanely fast left-right left-hander there. It's such a thrilling circuit here. It's going to be an hour of racing, of course, but it will be an hour of trying to get every millisecond of lap time out there, throwing it over the curbs once again. Nice stuff there through Ascari up towards Parabolica. The final corner, very easy to lose the rear there. It's very high speed, but it's also a very narrow corner on the entry. So easy to lose the rear. And you want to keep the car as stable as possible, of course, especially in a Porsche with which is a rear-engined car. So all the weight is in the back of the car, and he gets nice and early on the power there. Looking nice.
I think he enjoyed it his lap time though, because there's
he
no
did.
sector shown. Yeah.
But he might be able to get another one in here. Good spot for you. Yes. So there was track limits indeed. Well spotted there. Keinsel has improved his lap time just a little bit there. It's only 1/10 behind now, but it's not quick enough for pole position just yet. Meanwhile, Alfano is still in P3, so that's a good run from him. He is in P7 in the championship on 24 points. So this is looking like a track that would favor him here tonight. Thomas is still in P4, so also not too bad, but I think he's hoping to gain a couple of more positions there. He is on an improvement here, so this could see him up into at least closing the gap to pole position. I'm not really sure how well the Aston is on the top speed, so I'm not really sure if this is a track that will suit the Aston Martin here. But I guess only time will tell. Coming towards the Parabolica, it is still an improvement for him. 2/10 down on the provisional pole position, so this could see him up into P3. As we are nearing the end of the LMGT3 qualifying session here in a few moments, so this is probably the final lap for him. Is it going to be an improvement? We will see in a couple of moments' time. Towards the start-finish straight. And it is not an improvement, unfortunately. So it's still P4 for him. So there we have it. Ramonet takes pole position here. So the poll in YouTube chat was not correct there. It is Clemens Keinsel in P2, Alfano P3, Michael Thomas in P4, and Axel Bailey in the first Lexus in P5. A kind of surprising pole position there, I have to say. I was not expecting Ramonet to be as quick as he is. He did take the win last time out after not starting for the first 2 rounds, but he is continuing on that good form here with a pole position at Monza. Good stuff. As we now look at the race results of 2 weeks ago for the hypercar, it was Nico Notta who took the win at Fuji. After changing his car after Spa and Qatar. So those are his first and only points on the board so far, 25 points. It's Papua in P2. Mateusz Barzenk, the championship leader, also on 58 points, just as Clemens Keinsel in LMGT3, getting in P3 there. Luca Monaco following him closely in P4. Marco Canta in the Toyota in P5, Benjamin George P6, Michel D'Arezzo in P7, Arthur Rontar in P8, Francesco Pezzi in P9, and Francesco Pellegrini in P10. As you can see, a lot of Ferraris in this championship. There we have the overall standings with Barzenk leading, and Marco Canta in the Toyota still in P2, ahead of Luca Monaco. With Papua P4 and Nico Notta, who is written here in the BMW, but he is driving the Porsche or the Ferrari. I'm forgetting now. It's either the Porsche or the Ferrari. I'll have to check that. But he is in P5 at the moment. Pets in P6, D'Arezzo P7, George P8, Bouquet P9 and Casciaro in P10 in the Peugeot. But Daniel, there's a lot of Ferrari hypercars in here in this championship. But do you think, is it still the quickest car in the game at the moment, or could we see a shift in that potentially in the future?
We are currently like seeing a quite a remarkable or noticeable shift. I mean, the Ferrari is still a outstanding, superb car. It's fighting up the top. It's, I think, in almost every track around the top 3. But we're seeing a big step up for the BMWs and the Cadillacs in general. So I think BMW and Cadillacs may also be currently the fastest cars in the hypercar category. But yeah, the Ferrari is still a good choice to drive, and if you're comfortable with it, you can really fight up the top and compete with either the BMW and Cadillacs, regardless.
Yes, for sure. It is a popular choice nonetheless, as I get a note that Nico Notta is indeed driving in the BMW, so the graphic is correct. That's my bad. So he is driving in the BMW. I think it's the only BMW driver. No, Matteo Previato is also driving in the BMW M Hybrid V8 in the hypercar. So 2 of those in here, and Robin Deschamps is driving in the Cadillac V Series there as well. So if the Cadillac is indeed one of the quicker cars in the game at this moment, then we could potentially see him up there. Also, a car I do want to mention, well, we mentioned it every week basically, is Philipp Schlichting in the Aston Martin Valkyrie, who did score some points last time out, or 2 weeks ago in Qatar, so that's 4 weeks ago at this point. But the Valkyrie famously is quite good at top speed, of course. So could this be a track where Philipp gets some good points in, do you think?
I think this is like really his best shot all season around. If the Valkyrie does not get like a big BOP change or something this season or over the course of this season, I think Monza is really one of his best shots to try and get some decent points in here. Yeah, because you can like, it's not called the Temple of Speed for a reason. It's really just because it's really a lot of straights, a lot of high speed concerning. So yeah.
Well, as I said, we always talk about Philipp in this commentary room. Of course, the Valkyrie with the what happened there?
That's good. I just have a second that Nico is just straight up driving to the wall with that. I don't know. I just I misjudged that.
Hopefully that was just the game itself being weird, but he seems to be driving perfectly fine so far. A bit of a scare there, but of course Philipp Schlichting driving the lovely V12 powered Aston Martin Valkyrie. You will know it when you hear it out on track, especially on a track like this. Nota is going into the pit lane,
I think maybe hit the wall.
He may have hit the wall there.
Grass, I think.
I completely missed it. I'm so sorry. I'll look back at in the YouTube in just a moment. But a big moment there for Nico Notta, who took the win in Fuji 2 weeks ago. That is 2 weeks ago, I think. Big news there. I'll see if I can look it back. Daniel, meanwhile, can you take us on board here with Eric Kier for a lap around Fuji, Monza?
Yeah, on board with the Ferrari 499P, we're going to the second Varianta and on course to the this 2 Lesmo curves. The first one right here, trying to get all of the exit here, but not but in regard of track limits. And now the second Lesmo. Oh, there's a small lockup on the left front tire, which is not optimal. Going to the Curva del Seraglio. It's not always a corner, but it's just left pink. More now to the Varianta Ascari, braking like past the 100-meter board to the left, trying to not hit the sausage curbs at any time, because it can like unsettle the car really badly. Trying to get in regards to the track limits on the right hand side, and now to the last corner, the Curva Parabolica, driving braking just before the 50-meter board, and that's a lap. That's basically half a lap around Monza.
Well, you spotted it very nicely. Nico Notta did indeed hit the wall coming towards the variante the variante Ascari. So big news there. We're going to have to wait and see if he can make it out of the pit lane. Still, I think he is out on track at this moment. So not what he would have hoped for at the start of this qualifying session. And could see him, well, if he doesn't get a proper lap time in, this could change his fortune in this race quite drastically. As we see Marco Conta now in the Toyota going quickest here with the 34.7. It's Papua in P2, 46 thousandths of a second behind, and Petsin 52 thousandths of a second behind him. As we see Robin Dichon in the lovely Cadillac V-Series there in P4. It's a purple sector 1 for him. So, as you mentioned, this could be a very good qualifying session for him here. I think that's the purple Fisher Racing Team liveried going through the gravel there. So that's a track limit for him, unfortunately. So that's his lap done. Marco Conta, meanwhile, is on a flying lap again. It's a bit slower through sector 1, but of course enough track left to make up for that time there. Meanwhile, Nota is still not has his put a lap time on the board so far, so we'll keep that in our mind. There we have him. So he is out on track, he has fixed the damage there to his Ferrari. 2 tenths up on the professional lap time set by Marco Conta, so he could still be very much in contention for pole position here in the BMW. As Luca Lamonaco now is quicker with a 34.5, 1/10 clear of Marco Conta. So it is still very much up for grabs here in Monza, with Lamonaco being a driver to look out for all season long at this, of course, at this point. Philip Schlichting, there we have him. He goes provisional pole with a 34.5 in the Valkyrie, getting to the pit lane straight away. But that's a very nice lap for the Valkyrie driver there. And as we talked about before, this is a track that could suit the Valkyrie very nicely indeed. And he goes provisional pole. Luca Lamonaco on his flying lap doesn't appear to be anywhere near the provisional pole there. 2 tenths down through sector 1. Potentially some track limits there as well. But this could be a very good result for the Valkyrie there in the hands of Philip Schlichting. Meanwhile, Nico Notta is in P7, 6 tenths down on Philip. It is a good sector 2 though for Luca Lamonaco, so going very wide there. I think that's the track limits for him as well. Nico Notta there sliding through the corner. It is a purple sector 1 for him. So his qualifying is nowhere near done for him at the moment. Coming towards the end of sector 2. What is it going to be? Purple again. This could very much be a provisional pole position here for Nico Notta. After a dramatic start to his qualifying session just a few minutes ago, hitting the wall towards Ascari. But this could be a very good lap time for him. Coming through Parabolica towards the Sardinia Straight. What is it going to be for Nico Notta? Currently down in P8. It's only P6, losing a lot of time in the final sector, but this is not the qualifying Nico Notta would have hoped for so far. And that is Schlichting going out for one more lap here. Daniel, we could see potentially a Valkyrie on pole here. This is going to be very exciting.
Yeah, this is really something. I think it will be. I think everyone on the grid will really enjoy having Philip Schlichting as a pole sitter here. Of course, this really beautiful sounding and looking car deserves to be on top of the timing sheets. So yeah, it would be great to see him.
I have to think back to the conversation that we had with Philip a couple of weeks ago, where he, or I think it was in the YouTube chat, where he was kind of sad that we didn't visit Le Mans during this season because he thought that would be his best chance on a good result in the Valkyrie. But so far, it is looking very good for him as well. There is still a minute 40 left in the session, so I don't think this will be his quick lap time. He's weaving around, trying to warm up his tires. This is Luca Monaco, who we saw moving out of the way of Philip quite drastically a few moments ago. So he will put in one more lap as well. Robin Deschamps, meanwhile, in the Cadillac in P3 at the moment. The roar of the American V12 V8 engine there. Lovely low rumbling sound. But the Cadillac looking very competitive here as well at the moment. It's not a quick Sector 1 for him though. I'm not too sure if he has enough time to... Yeah, I think he has enough time to go around for one more lap after this. So don't count him out just yet either. Meanwhile, something that we haven't spoken about, I think there we have Schlichting setting up his final lap here, but Mateusz Barzenk, the championship leader, is not competing this week at all. I forgot to mention, I think we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago with him after the final race, that he would miss this one. But this is the chance, of course, for Marco Canta, Luca Monaco and Papua to close that gap to Mateusz Barzenk in the championship fight. So this could, of course, be a drastic result for those guys. Schlichting here coming through Lesmos. It is a yellow Sector 1, so it's not too quick so far. Lesmo 2. Early on the power. Nice stuff there. On board towards the Variante Ascari. As you go off board here, it's a purple Sector 2, so it's very quick still. Right at the curb there. Looking lovely on the exit, but I think he might have been held up just a little bit by the number 18 there. He's still going for it though. The clock is down to 0. As Canta now goes quicker with a 34.4, so it's Canta on professional pole now. What can Philip Schlichting do? It's not good enough. He did get held up, so it is only P2 for him. And it's Marco Canta who takes pole position here, I think. Luca Monaco P3, and he remains in P3. So it is Marco Canta in the Toyota out of nowhere claiming pole position here in the Temple of Speed, ahead of all the Ferraris and the very well performing Philip Schlichting in the Valkyrie. What a surprise there. The Toyota out of nowhere claiming pole position here tonight. Daniel, I did not see that one coming.
It was a qualifying session of surprise, I would like to say. First the Valkyrie, then at first the BMW of Nico Nota, like driving straight into the wall, and then the Valkyrie, almost fairy tale, and now Marco Canta setting it on pole position. Really, really a great qualifying session. I think that set us up greatly. Just great for the race.
It sure is, as we wait patiently, and we will get this race going in just a few moments' time. 1 hour of racing here at the Autodromo Nazionale Monza, also known as the Temple of Speed, of course. Now, turn 1 is tricky enough as it is when you drive it alone in a qualifying session, let alone if you drive it with 30 cars going in there on lap 1. So it is, of course, a known corner to cause some carnage here, but we will have to wait and see if everybody keeps it clean there on lap 1. I would hope so. Of course, this is the VMS. We have the best drivers of LMU in here, so we hope and expect some clean racing going in there. But you never know. It's Monza. Anything can happen. As we look at some of the lovely shots of the track. And behind the trees there, you can also see the old layout of Monza. Of course, back in the 50s, I think, when Formula 1 raced here first, they used the giant outer loop. Well, let's skip that story for now. Let's take a look at the qualifying results for LMGT3. It's Axel Ramonet in the Porsche taking pole position with 49.5. Clemens Keinsel, the championship leader in P2, 1/10 behind Alessandro Alfano, P3. Michael Thomas, 5/10 down in P5. Axel Bailey in P5. Chris Winning in P6 with Marco Vella P7. Robin Duparon in P8 and Stefano Di Nardo P9. Johan Ivora in P10. The whole top 10 within 9/10 of a second. It is Marco Galetti in P11, Eduardo Dorito in P12, Alexander Radoskovic on his debut in P13, not really getting a proper lap time in, and Gabriel Almeida in P14. But I think that's our camera car, if I'm not mistaken. Marco Canta there taking overall pole position in the hypercar field with the Toyota 34.4 with Philippe Schlichting in the Valkyrie P2. Very nice. Luca Monaco in P3 with Paul Poix in P4. Robin Duchamp P5. Francesco Petzin P6. Nico Notta after a crash early on in P7. Mattia Previato in P8. Francesco Pellegrini P9 and Casciaro P10, all within 6/10 of a second. So also very close stuff. Eric Hier P11. Benjamin George P12 and Michel Derezzo in P13, who might have served a qualifying penalty there, not getting a single lap time on the board. So that is the whole hypercar field within 9/10 of a second. Close stuff indeed. As we get this race going, the clock is down to 0. The formation lap has started and the grid is making their way towards the start-finish straight here for an hour of racing around the Temple of Speed. It is Marco Canta on pole position in the red and white Toyota. Just beside him, the bright blue, purple Aston Martin Valkyrie of Philippe Schlichting. As the whole grid crawls his way towards the start-finish straight here. The lovely liveries that everybody's running here. There's the Porsche of Ramonet, followed by Keinsel in P2 in the Ferrari. Here we go then, 1 hour of racing around the Temple of Speed at the Virtual Motorsport Series Silver Split Round 4. And the green flag will wave. There we go, with Canta taking the lead. It's a good start from Papua, who goes side by side with Monaco. It's going 3 wide there towards turn 1. Almost 4 wide. It's good to end in tears straight away, but I think we're... Oh, there's a spin there behind. And Schlichting cutting it. It is George indeed. Schlichting cutting the corner there, avoiding all the carnage. But he's back down to P5. There he is. So a terrible start from him, having to cut the first chicane. Canta is still in the lead with Poix now P2. So great start from him. Monaco in P3, Pets in P4, Deschamps in P5 in the Cadillac. So also not a good start from him, but it's a terrible start from the Valkyrie driver. And it is Benjamin George, as you said, who spun out in the first corner there, trying to avoid the traffic ahead. Meanwhile, in LMGT3, it's Ramonet still on P1 with Michael Thomas now in P2. So good start from him with Clemens Keinsel in P3. P4 it's Vella and P5 Alfano. So a good start there for Ramonet, who takes a 4/10 lead straight away with Canta. A second clear already of Paul Poix now in P2. Petsin there being overtaken by Deschamps. Wow, it's Deschamps going around the outside there through the gravel of Ascari, trying to defend against Nico Notta, that is, for P5. As we see Monaco going a bit wide there. In the slipstream towards the Parabolica. Schlichting down the inside there of the Ferrari as well. Whoa, hitting the grass there, going very deep in Parabolica. This is a terrible lap 1 for Philippe Schlichting, who's all the way down to P12. So a terrible start of the race for him after a superb qualifying session. It's going to be tears for him. Meanwhile, here we see Johnny Vora in P9, followed by Stefano Di Nardo in P10 towards the end of their first laps as well. LMGT3 seems to be relatively calm compared to the hypercars, who are fighting left, right and center for their places here in the early stages of this race. Lap 1 down, plenty more to come here. Previato P9 aiming to go for a move there. Oh, as you see the Peugeot going wide side by side with Eric Hier there for P10. Can he get the move done down the inside of the Roggia? And he doesn't seem to be, no. Schlichting behind, also eager to get the move done. But a good start there from Papua, who is now up into P2. Lomonaco remains in P3. But Daniel, a terrible start there for Philip Schlichting, who's all the way down in P12 at the moment after starting P2. That's got to be terrible for him.
Unfortunate, and really, it's really heartbreaking for him, I think. Yeah, the only thing he can do is like try to rely on his soul pace and just try to do the best of it. But I was not gonna say it, but I thought like first time starting on P2 in his championship could be a new experience, and it shows. It was something new, and I think he can learn out of it easily. Although it was, you must say, a bit unfortunate as well. But you know, this is what Monza is all about. This is how it can go. It can reward you, but it can also hit you quite harshly anytime, especially in turn 1.
It sure can. So, like you said, hopefully he learns from this and gets it right the next time when he is close to the front of the grid. Meanwhile, Kanta there being attacked by Papua for the lead here. The Ferrari and the Toyota going headed towards the Variante de Roggia. The very tricky chicane there. Papua seemingly a lot quicker than the Toyota, who took a surprising pole position just a few moments ago. All over the back of him right now towards through the Lesmo 1 and 2. With Lomonaco closing the gap as well. And Penske not far behind either. It's Deschamps 3 seconds behind there in the Cadillac, so he is not going as quick as he would have hoped for. But Marco Kanta here getting hounded by the 3 Ferraris behind him. Through Ascari, climbing over the curbs there. Walked some track limits there as well, so he could lose that lead within a few moments potentially. In LMGT3, this there we are on board with Alexander Radoskovic, I think. No, Galetti. I'm sorry. Radoskovic is just behind this battle. Radoskovic making his debut here in the silver split. It's Galetti now in P11 with Dinardo in P10 right in front of him. Both Astons there. It is still Ramonet in the lead with Michael Thomas in P2. Clemens Keinsel in P3, so he lost a place there. Alfano P4, Vella P5, Winning P6, Axel Bailey also losing a place. He's now down in P7 with Duperon P8, Ivora P9 and Dinardo top 10. Dorito has also lost some places there. I think he's in P11 in the second Porsche. So it's pretty much a Porsche sandwich at the moment in LMGT3. Of course, Almeida is our camera car, so you can see it on the timing, but it's not competing in this race at all. But it's still Ramonet in the Porsche 992 in the lead here for LMGT3 as we come through for the third lap of this race. So the pace difference between the two two classes is about 14-15 seconds, so we could see these hypercars overtaking the LMGT3s and not too long already. Usually it's between the 10 and 15 minute mark, so traffic as always plays a huge role as Papua has gone through. He has taken the lead ahead of Marco Kanta, who is now down to P2, and Lomonaco is looking like he wants to get by rather quickly as well. So this is not working in the favor there of Marco Kanta, who is already 9 tenths behind Papua. And potentially losing some more places there as well, as Nico Notas also made his way past Deschamps, who's now down in P6 in the Cadillac. Casciaro is still in P9 in the lonely Peugeot in this field. There we have him, Nico Nota ahead of the Fischer Racing Team, Robin Deschamps in the Cadillac V-Series. Fischer Racing Team, a esports team that we see all over this series here at VMS. I think there are like 10 cars all over the field with them, so a very familiar livery, of course. Priviato down 30 seconds behind Benjamin George, so I think he had a spin somewhere as well in the BMW. Schlichting though back into P10 ahead of Kiye. But Marco Kanta not looking too comfortable here in the Toyota, so maybe his race pace not as quick as he would have hoped for. Now we have Schlichting, as we saw Benjamin George making the move on Kiye right behind him. Kiye also dropping that back quite a bit there. Priviato is now in the pit lane, so that's potentially his race over. we'll have to wait and see in just a few moments.
Not much to bargain there. But yeah, very, very well executed stuff by Paul Puert, going from P4 to P1 in essentially what is now 8 minutes gone. Schlichting is also trying everything he can to, like, as we see him now in this beautiful blue and pink livery with blossom tree and the Japanese flag all over the place, trying to get his result to somehow be alright again, especially in this opportunity where he has like a really great performing car, especially in qualifying and maybe now in the race as well. As we see, Marco Canta is getting a lot of pressure by the two Ferraris behind him, being Le Monaco and Pezin, who are really trying everything they can. And it really seems like Paul Puert is on the back foot and will be on the back foot, may potentially all race around.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how Kanta is being able to manage this P2 for now. But like I said, he is seemingly not the quickest car out on track. I would imagine that Schlichting is able to get back some places. He is still very much in the hunt for a P7 at this point. He is right behind that battle there. So I'm not counting him out at all for a good result here. There are still 15 minutes to go in this race here tonight. So he's looking very competitive here, despite his 10th position at the moment. So see, there we go. Marco Galetti getting still ahead of Di Nardo, or I think he got the move done just now for for the final points paying position LMGT3. The gaps are a bit more comfortable over there, with Ramonet now 1.5 seconds clear of Michael Thomas, and who is 2 seconds ahead of Clemens Keinsel. So it's a bit more breathing room there. Of course, that can and probably will change all around once the hypercars come through in not too long, I imagine. Now Ramonet, after taking the win last time out, is looking very competitive here again. With Keinsel now in P3, this could set him up very nicely if he could potentially take 2 wins in a row. Of course, it's way too early to tell that. But if he is able to maintain his position at the moment, then that would be a very good result for him in a championship as well, even after missing the first 2 rounds. So, and there we have it, the first traffic. Papua coming through the LMGT3 field. I think that's P13 there in the Iron Dames Porsche. This is
very well. Oh yeah, I can very well see like the impact on hypercars which traffic have. Like we could see Puert and Kanta moving quite effortlessly by the Porsche, but Le Monaco of course had to like lift a little to not drive into the rear end of the Porsche car, and this is all which is essentially like dicing and dicing this race up essentially. Oh, as we see a 3 wide here coming to Parabolica. It's really like another factor which multi-class racing is making a sport which we love, and is making it so much more exciting than it will be just in a single class championship.
It sure is. This is why we love multi-class. And as you see Francesco Petzem lining up a move on Luca Le Monaco. He almost had him on the back straight there up towards Parabolica, mostly due to the traffic, but he didn't get the job done just then. But he is looking to overtake Le Monaco here potentially in a few moments. Le Monaco is also still only 8 tenths behind Kanta there. But Papua has managed to create a bit of a gap there through the traffic, so that's a good result for him there. You see the whole field making their way through this first round of traffic. Down the inside are on board with Schlichting into the Variante della Roggia towards Lesmo 1 and 2. And one of the most tricky things in this multi-class racing is the insane closing speed between the two classes. In the slow speed, they're not too far apart, these two classes. They're quite similar in terms of pace in slow speed corners, but of course this track is mostly high speed, so the closing speed in the braking zones towards corners like Ascari is pretty much insane there. We have a good example there with the Lexus being right in front of this group of 3 cars, and the first one being hauled up quite drastically there. And now potentially this is Casciaro following Pellegrini there, and they're trying to get the move done on P7 there in the bright yellow Ferrari. It's intense, close stuff here on the main straight. There we have Casciaro down in the slipstream of Pellegrini on the outside. This is while they're making contact there, is almost pushing him into Radoskovic there in the purple Ferrari, trying to block him as much as he can. And Pellegrini for now keeping the position as you see the car ahead locking up his front tires, going a bit deep there into the first corner. But these 4 cars with Schlichting right behind are fighting tooth and nail here for the for P7. This is trying to use the traffic in their advantage as best as they can. Casciaro trying to look down the inside there again, but he forces him wide, and Pellegrini there going off track just a little bit forces him off again. If Schlichting takes an advantage there and gets past Casciaro there, so he won't be too happy with that, because I feel there was a bit of a forcing off going on there. So he'll be very disappointed with that in the Peugeot. But Pellegrini lives to fight another day in P8. The Schlichting is now up into P9 once again. As we said, don't count out Philip Schlichting. He is looking very good in that Valkyrie, and could be up for a good result here still. As now Casciaro has to look in his mirrors once again with Benjamin George right behind them. So he was looking to overtake P8 just a few minutes ago, and now he has to look in his mirrors for P10 here. Meanwhile, LMGT3, it's Axel Bailey in P6 following Marco Vella, but we're moving back to the hypercars because this is ongoing action here on the main straight towards the first corner. Is once again, this is Schlichting on board, trying to overtake Pellegrini. Look at the insane top speed of the Valkyrie down into turn 1. Can he get the move done for P8? I think he can. Pellegrini hangs on around the outside.
Oh, maybe with a switchback. Right. Remarkable defender by Francesco Pellegrini, really trying to do something which is in the most cases not possible, to like trying to cut back on the outside of turn 1. But we'll see how that goes into Variante 2. Where Philip Schlichting is again on the inside. And a little bit I think on a contact on the rear end, and you really see like this train of 3 wide behind Philip Schlichting. And Benjamin George making contact with both of them and spinning out eventually. And I think it's both. Yeah, he took out Francesco Pellegrini as well.
Ending in tears there for Benjamin George and Pellegrini. I think George got hit on the rear there by Pellegrini, if I'm not mistaken. But Schlichting getting him some good moves there up to P7 already. There we have Pellegrini now in P12 and Benjamin George just up ahead in P11. Schlichting is now up into P8, so good stuff by him. Gaining some places back after that disastrous first lap 17 minutes ago. This is the battle we were just watching briefly in LMGT3. Marco Vella right ahead of Axel Bailey in the Lexus. Down the inside of Ascari, another move. Whoa, and they're both spinning out. That's, yeah, not a place you usually see a move getting done. And this is the reason why easy with the getting back on track, but he managed to keep it in one piece. So Marco Vella and Axel Bailey making big contact there into Ascari, ending in tears as well. And I think Axel Bailey got the well, he's down there in the back of this this view, so losing out quite big there following that contact as he tried to get a move done down the inside. That's very unfortunate stuff there for both drivers. I feel it's a bit optimistic from Axel Bailey from my point of view, but I have to look it back to well, be completely sure about that. Looking like some action for the stewards tonight, Daniel.
Yeah, for sure. We still like 2 incidents. That's another one, I think. Oh, please do not rejoin the track. Yeah, I think that was this Dinado?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Dinado. Yeah. Spinning, I think hitting Ivora on the rear in turn 1. That is what we talked about before the race. Essentially, it's quite. It looks like a really wide track, but if you get to these tiny chicanes, it's really like every centimeter is really counting here, and yeah, this will be a lot of Red stewards. I think they hope they have nothing planned this weekend and next week.
Well, we'll keep them busy. I see someone mentioned in the comments that we might let the commentators steward this race, but I'm not too sure if that's a good idea.
Yeah, no. See about that one. No responsibilities taken though.
No, if they let us do it, then we'll be happy to. 10 seconds for everybody.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back on the track as we see Francesco Petzin has moved ahead of Luca Monaco at this point, 1.4 seconds clear already, so he's in P3 at the moment, looking to get past Marco Canta for P2, who is still somewhat close to Papua in first position. So the Toyota finding some pace once again. Nico Nota there in the back of your screen, not too far behind Luca Monaco as well. Wow, this is Marco Canta going very wide indeed, cutting the track and going through the gravel. So it's not what you want to see, losing out on P2 there following a costly mistake of him.
So you can see a P5. Oh, sorry. It was so you can see a P5 as Nicky from the background. Nico Nota is on the back, on the rear wing of Luca Monaco. I think there was. He may also be like favorable by some great traffic, but yeah, we can see him trying everything to pass him, but on the outside will be quite harsh. Oh, but he gets the inside now, and it's all about his exit, and both the exit, but I think he will get another shot into the second chicane.
On the inside again.
On the outside, yeah, for the second chicane. But he's, I think, a little bit up front, so he could make it stick, but it's going to be tight, and there's a contact with Luca Monaco, but I think it was all quite alright from my point of view. So let's see Nico Nota up to P4.
Yeah, looked like a move done quite nicely there by Nico Nota in the BMW, so great pace from him. Previato, meanwhile, is still out on track, but he is a lap down at this point, so not the result he would have hoped for, I'm sure. Benjamin George is in the pit lane at this point. Of course, all of these guys do have to make a pit stop at some point during this race. It's not a long pit stop, so you could choose to do it right now and try to get a big undercut of the rest of the field. So we'll have to see how that works out for Benjamin George in the long run. Marco Vella is up to P6 again after that contact with Axel Bailey that we saw earlier. Yeah, I thought I saw
in F.
Yeah, I thought I saw a purple Ferrari in the pit lane, but it's the debutant in this race, Alexander Raduskovic, not getting to the finish flag, unfortunately. So he is out of this race already. That's a shame for him. There we have him. So not the result he would have hoped for. Meanwhile, it is still Ramonet in the lead of the LMGT3 field, 5 seconds clear almost. Papua still in the lead, 3 seconds clear to Petzin, now in P2 after the big mistake by Marco Canta going wide after Ascari. Schlichting, meanwhile, seems to have dropped in pace just a little bit. He's now followed closely by Casciaro, who is eager to get the move done. The Peugeot also not looking too bad in this race. Maybe the tires of Schlichting overheating just a little bit after the quite intense racing going on earlier on. He's currently 3 seconds behind D'Arezzo in P7 up ahead. Overall, I think the gaps are not too big at this point. Towards the back of the field, they're a bit bigger, but in general, it's not too bad. So if he can close the gap to D'Arezzo up ahead a little bit, then it could still be he could still be on for an even better result than P8 at the moment. Casciaro in the slipstream here towards Parabolica. Could get the move done in just a second, but meanwhile Marco Kanta is also in the slipstream of Nico Nota, who we saw make the move a few moments ago. 4 tenths behind at the moment. We see Casciaro jumping into the pit lane there to make his pit stop. So some breathing room there for Schlichting. Kanta drifting meanwhile through turn 2. Trying to put some pressure on Nico Nota there for the final podium of this race. So we're nearing the halfway point of this race. It is still Ramonet in the lead of LMGT3. A very clean race from him, starting from pole position. There we have him in the white Porsche, taking the win, and Fuji last time out as well. So he is on a roll. Michael Thomas in P2. He's also second in the championship after missing out on the race in Fuji back then. Keinsel is a championship leader and he is in P3 at the moment. So he could still be very much on for a continuous streak of 4 podiums in a row in this series. So he would be quite happy with his current position, I would imagine. Alfano still in P5 and Vinning still P4 and Vinning still in P5. So it's settling down quite nicely in LMGT3.
As we see Philip Schaeffler on the hunt for P7, closing the gap just a little bit, a bit less than 4 seconds to the 7th running Michel D'Arezzo, sorry. Yeah, I think the best he can do is just drive his lap times, trying to not get stuck into traffic anyway. But you know, this is not always into his hands, and he can just try to do the best he can. From this, he can like really be proud of himself, especially for the qualifying results, and the race so far has been really tidy as well. Apart from the that one incident and misfortune he had. So far, I think it's a great experience for him for sure, driving this car at a quite competitive environment, which you know, he could not do for almost all season long.
I think he is closing the gap just a little bit ahead. It was 6 seconds just a few minutes ago, so it's he is closing the gap rather nicely. So we'll keep that we'll keep a close eye on it throughout the rest of the race. Still 34 minutes to go. We're not even halfway at this point, so still plenty of action to come. To see there the number 51 Ferrari making his way through the traffic once again. This is the tricky part. If you get a GT3 car right ahead of you through Ascari, that's the part where you lose most of the time throughout the lap. I think it's really easy to overestimate the speed of the car ahead and, well, hit him on the back. Don't ask me how I know that. You see Dinardo going a bit wide there as well. There's a lot of small mistakes going on, I feel like, at the moment. We see Nico Nota trying to get the move down on Petsin. All of a sudden, that gap is coming down as well. So it's better for P2. This is between Kanta, Nota, Petsin, and Monaco as well, actually. It's not settling down at all, so I'm not gonna call this one yet. Nico Nota seemingly finding some more pace in that BMW and trying to get P2 back on Nico Petsin, Francesco Petsin, apologies. So Nota seemingly having some better race pace than his qualifying pace at this point in the bright colored BMW. I'm not too familiar with the BMW, Daniel. I don't know if you are, but is that something that we can expect to see more during this season, that the qualifying pace of Nico will be potentially a bit less compared to his race pace?
Oh, I don't really know about that. I don't think the difference between quality and race pace is that big in the BMW. But you know, if I would know it better, you won't see me here to commentating about driving this car. But I think this car is generally just very, very competitive, and I think up to the P2 top two, yeah, with this one and the Cadillac as well. So I don't think there's that much of a difference in qualifying, but I can't really tell. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Of course, this car did get chosen quite a bit in the Platinum Series with Stefano Panato, Michi Hoyer, of course, famously, and Jenny Simuncic, all choosing the BMW with Marco Steinman as well. So in the Platinum Split, it's quite popular, but in the other series, not so much. So it's quite interesting to why that is the case. Of course, Nico Notta is also getting some great lap times out of it at the moment. So this could be a car that we see a bit more often in the next seasons that we host here at VMS, of course. Now that we're halfway through the series, well, basically throughout the series, if you do change your car, you're allowed to do that once or twice. You will lose all your championship points. So if you're straight right up there, it's not really worth it to do so. But for Nico, it very much has been, as he is very, very competitive in that BMW at the moment. We are pretty much halfway through this race at this point. Ramona is still extending that lead there on Michael Thomas. Meanwhile, in the back, Axel Bailey, who was performing quite well early on in the season. He got a podium in Qatar. He finished P2 there, but he had a DNF last time at the Fuji, and this time he's only in P10. So he started that quite competitively in his Lexus, but so far after that it has dropped quite up just a little bit. Not really sure where the other Lexus car is positioned at the moment, but the greatest time out there for Axel Bailey. Same can be said for Dinardo and Galetti. Galetti is, of course, in P3 in the championship on 27 points. He also failed to score last time out, but he did score a P3 in Qatar. But once again, he is not really all that competitive this time out, so he could potentially lose that position to Robin Duparon here tonight. He's only 2 points behind. Ramonet, of course, who is leading, is also only 2 points behind in P5, so he will most likely be jumped by him at least. There we have the white Porsche of Axel Ramonet, who's comfortably leading this race for, well, pretty much since the start, after getting a very nice pole position. So we can expect some big shifts there in the overall standings for the LM GT3. Let's see with Alfano, who is in P7, also scoring some good, also in a good position at this point. So we could see him move up the grid as well. So lots to look out for after this race is done and dusted. We still have a long way to go, of course, with Luca Monaco now setting up a move on Kanta, but he dives into the pit lane, so he gets the move done really easy, of course. So Mark Kanta, the first of the top runners in this race to make a pit stop. I feel like the undercut has not really proved out to be the most competitive one throughout this series, Daniel. Seemingly, I think going longer is the way to go at this point.
Yeah, I think I'm feeling that is like this as well. It's, I think, solely relying on maybe the cold tires, because if you are driving like out of the pit lane and undercutting, your strategy is essentially to drive a faster lap time without traffic with new tires to like get a virtual overtake done. But in this series where you don't have tire warmers, tire blankets, and you are really, the first step is like driving on ice, you're really not gaining that much, or I think you are not gaining any time in most cases. On your out lap, maybe on your second lap, it could be somewhat competitive, but it's I think not optimal, because going longer, you can really extend your stint and really have this constant pace where you can not get overtaken virtually by an undercut. Unlike in other series where you have tire warmers like F1 or other GT3 series where it's not the case, like IMSA or LMU, which this game is based on.
Yes, as we see more cars hopping into the pit lane, Nico Notta here as well, with Petsin following into the pit lane. It's going to be interesting to see, and I'm interested to see what you think about it. If these cars are switching their tires at all, because the left-hand tires on this track will see the most abuse as we see a car. He was there. Car disappearing for just a second. I'm not sure. Oh, there he is. I think he's still ahead. I got a bit surprised there. Well, actually, yes, I think he's still there. Okay. Got a bit confused there. Anyway. Now, as I was saying, the left-hand tires on these cars get abused the most on this track, I imagine. So is there a strategy call to be made to change the left sides only, you feel like? Or are they changing their tires at all? What do you think?
I think it would make perfect sense to just change like either only the front or in the left front. I think they won't be doing a full tire change at all. It may well be also an opportunity to try and not change your tires at all, which is very well possible and here as well, given that you don't have to use two different compounds or two different tires in this race. But I think a rather safe version could also be to just change whatever tire is most grained or like abused, which in this case is the left front. Yeah, but it's always like about the driving style, how well you manage your tires, how well you're taking care of them.
Yes, for sure. As we see more drivers into the pit lane as well. Luca Monaco now in the pit lane, which moves Philipp Schichting up into P3 for now. Of course, we're not really expecting him to stay there, but it is nice to see him up there once again. It is still Papua in the lead with Dijon now in P2 in the purple Cadillac V Series. Pellegrini P4, Quillet P5, Monaco now coming out of the pit lane in P6. So he is ahead of Nico Notta at the moment, I think. Gap of about 1.1 second-ish. I think he has remained ahead. No, he hasn't. So he is in P7 right behind Nico Notta there, it seems. Marco Canta still behind those guys as well. I think Nico has gone off there, flashing the lights as well. So I think there might have been a bit of contact between Monaco and Notta with a gap of about 4 seconds at the moment. So potentially as we see a replay there, it is Notta there going through the gravel. So I think there was a bit of contact there between Monaco and Notta into turn 1. Not what you want to see, of course. But it does mean that Monaco is once again ahead of Nico Notta in this fight. Of course, he was he behind him before the pit stops? I think Monaco was behind Notta, right?
Yeah.
So that is a position gained by Monaco. I'm not really sure how it happened, and potentially the stewards will take a look at it after the race as well, if they weren't busy enough as it is. Coming right there again as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of that in the end. I did see a penalty pop up for one of the LMP3 cars, Evora in P9, getting a penalty potentially for track limits, I think that is. So that will give him a drive-through, I think, which will put him on the back. Yeah, he's 33 seconds behind, so I think he has served it already. So that is... Go ahead.
As we see, Vela, I think, the car which was seemingly a bit unstable and disappearing all over the place, has DNF'd. So I think there was the car which we did not see through the Lesmo corners beforehand.
I think you're right there, yes. So potentially a technical DNF there for Vela, who also made contact with another car coming through turn 1, if I'm not mistaken. So that's his race over, unfortunately. That puts guys like Axel Bailey here up a place, of course. So once lost is once gained. We see Dorito and Alfano both are also a lap down, so not really sure what happened there. I think Alfano was the other car who got hit into turn 1. Same with Vela, if I'm not mistaken. Meanwhile, it is D'Arezzo in P8, followed by Petsin in P9. Petsin has made his pit stop already. He is now just following him close. He wants to get the move done rather quickly, I think. D'Arezzo was nowhere near the front, so all of this is costing him a lot of time, of course, the longer he stays behind here. So see Pellegrini into the pit lane as well. There we have him. So Petsin wants to get this move done rather quickly, I would imagine, if he wants to remain in contention for the podium position. There's Kanta right behind him as well. So all of this is putting him right back into the grasp of Marco Kanta in the Toyota. He is just looking at this and thinking, ha, that's a place I can grab potentially, as he tries to go down around the outside here. Wow, D'Arezzo making some contact there, not leaving each other an inch of space there. And all of this plays hugely in the favor of Nico Notta, who's only a few tenths behind at this point. Marco Kanta, apologies, who's only a few tenths behind at this point. Down the inside, Francesco Petsin goes, oh, contact all over again. Flashing the lights there. D'Arezzo not wanting to let him pass by quickly at all here, it seems like. Defending really hard for his P7. And Petsin getting rather frustrated behind the wheel, I would imagine, at this point. Through Lesmo 1 and 2. And now up towards Ascari. Go ahead.
Getting a better run out of the Lesmo 2, and now in the slipstream, going side by side to Lesmo on the outside. And they lock up. And that's ended in the wall. I think it was D'Arezzo in the wall. Oh yeah. And that is pretty much game over and race over for him, I think. I think he should sustain some major suspension damage, if I'm correct. As we see Alex Bailey going through the grass there. And
so still on the inside though.
Jumping over the curbs. So really harsh and aggressive racing.
Yeah, for sure. So Axel Bailey trying to get the move done on Stefano Di Nardo into turn 1, but not really leaving an inch of space there on the inside as well. So the Lexus trying to get the job done. But a very big hit for Di Nardo. No, apologies, D'Arezzo, I think it was. Whoa, hitting the back there. Axel Bailey getting some damage there on the Aston right in front of him. So see La Monaco down the inside here of Lesmo 1. But a big damage there, I think, for D'Arezzo, who hit the wall rather hard. So I'm curious to see if he had made his pit stop already, because if he hasn't, then I feel like it's a bit stupid to defend the place that hard that you're going to lose either way, and now it has cost you your race. So I'm very curious to see if he did make his pit stop already. I'm not really sure if we can find out at this point, but we'll see. If Axel Bailey once again looking down the inside, making contact again, going very wide through Ascari, desperately trying to get this move done. Well, it's to no use so far, because D'Arezzo is in the pit lane at this point, so we will find out rather shortly, I think. But Axel Bailey getting very frustrated there. You can see some damage on the right-hand side of the car. Trying to get the move done here rather quickly in the orange Lexus. It's going to be interesting to see if D'Arezzo is able to continue his race after that big impact following Ascari. But only time will tell, of course. 18 minutes left to go. Benjamin George is still in the race after a quite a troublesome and eventful race for him. So that started quite high, I feel like, but he had a spin at the early stages of this race and pretty much got from bad to worse after that.
Benjamin George.
Yeah, he spun in on the first lap, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, I think he started as the last one, if I'm correct to say. Should be the last one of the time setters.
Yeah, apologies, you're correct there. So both qualifying and this race not really going his way tonight. Yeah, you're right. I thought he started up into P7 or something, but anyway. So D'Arezzo is still in the pit lane, looking at the driver. So I think he is repairing the damage that he's sustained, and he wants to finish this race still. He is in P7 in the championship, so yeah, he could lose out in some places here, but it's curious to see what ends up happening in this race for him, if he's able to get some place back. I won't imagine so, because he's been in there for quite a while at this point, but we will see in just a few moments' time. This fight is still going on though. Axel Bailey on Dinardo once again on the start-finish straight here towards Varianta del Rettifilio in a slipstream, going for the outside. No, it's the inside once again, and Dinardo is not leaving an inch of space there. Contact there on the outside, and he chooses the outside then after all, trying to get the switchback done here. Better run on the exit potentially, but Dinardo is defending with tooth and nail here for his P7 on Axel Bailey in the bright pink Aston Martin there. Axel Bailey getting quite frustrated, I feel like, down the inside there once again, but he's too far back at the moment, as we see the Peugeot there trying to get his move done as well, trying to get past this battle as quickly as he can. There we go. Dinardo defending very hard here. Daniel, this has to be very frustrating from Axel's point of view as a driver, knowing that you're so much quicker but not able to get the job done.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have the car in front, which is essentially being 3 cars wide. You can really find past it, like you can see here as well. He's really leaving him just an inch of space all the time. And also forcing him like a bit on the grass, so you need to move like to the outside again. It's really something. It's really a art to defend. Now going to parabolica side by side again, lots of contacts, door by door, banging those doors. And again, I think it's a better end for Sven Dinardo if Axel Bailey cannot cut back quite good, which he seems to do now in the slipstream, and both going to the pits. Oh, that was quite a battle.
So let's see how this plays out after the pit lane. If one of them gets a quicker pit stop, there might be some gains there. Meanwhile, the other Axel, Ramounet, in the Porsche has come out ahead of his stop, as Galetti has got a penalty as well. I think with track limits there, so that's another drive-through also added for him. But the first LMGT3 drivers making their pit stops. Meanwhile, in the hypercar, it's once again Papua in the lead. It's Le Monaco 10 seconds behind in P2, and Deschamps has gained massively there. He's in P3 at the moment, ahead of Nico Notta. And Schlichting, as we said, don't count him out. He is back in P5 ahead of Petsin and Kanta, so he gained massively there following the pit stops. And Kanta losing out big time there, starting on pole position, now down in P7. But Robin Deschamps on your screen there, the purple Fischer Racing Team Cadillac V-Series is right ahead of Nico Notta in P3, the final podium in the race. Is he able to maintain his position for the next 14 minutes? We will find out, of course. There's confirmation that Terrazzo has DNF'd after all in the Ferrari. So unfortunately, we won't get any confirmation if he did make his stop yet. I don't think he did, but we will never know, unfortunately. But Deschamps in the Cadillac, well, Daniel, it seems like you're right. The Cadillac seems a very competitive car at the moment. He is on for a very nice P3 here.
Yeah, we see really new cars here around, like in P3, P4, and P5. It's really familiar to see like a Cadillac in this championship, a BMW now as well, and a Mercury as well. So it's really like a great benchmark to see where all the cars are right now, especially so like for this track. I think in general also it's quite nice to see a rather large variety of of cars in this championship. And,
it sure is. Yes, as Robin Deschamps, he did drive at Spa the first race of the season, but he didn't start in Qatar Fuji. So it's only the second time that we see him out here on track in the silver split. Meanwhile, Clemens Keinsel has made his one and only stop here tonight. He has come out in P3 behind Michael Thomas once again. So it seems that Ramounin has maintained his lead in the race so far. It's 10 seconds clear ahead of Michael Thomas, and who is as well 7 seconds in front of Clemens Keinsel there. So great drives from them. Winning still in P4 and Dupoirot in P5. So there is, let's see, Alfano losing out a bit there, I think. Axel Bailey has made his way past Stefano Di Nardo there. He is now in P6. So finally, after, well, seemingly hours of driving behind the Aston Martin, the Lexus has finally gone by. So potentially during the pit stop phases, I feel like maybe getting a quicker pit stop done. Axel Bailey finally up into P6 there after all. Meanwhile, Deschamps is still ahead of Nico Notta, 8 tenths in front of him. And so far he seems to be able to keep him there just now. Oh, there's contact there between Notta and the Aston Martin GT3 there. So, of course, traffic still plays a huge part. It's a bit more spread out at this point. The gaps are a bit bigger. But one small mistake can still cause you to well, pretty much throw your whole race away. Well, this is the most frustrating point, losing so much time and momentum there, coming onto the back straight for Nico Notta, losing a lot of time there. Well, Schlichting is also closing this gap just a little bit. It's only a second behind, so coming into the final 10 minutes of this race, Schlichting could still be on for a podium here if he's able to get past Notta and Deschamps. So a good recovery drive from him after that terrible first lap on his side. We are on board with him.
There is some up stuff from him, and also from Nico Notta all race around. He really recovered from a few minor things, like you saw after the pit stop he went turn one to the grass, and now is again up the front and fighting for the podium positions. So yeah, it's a great drive from both of them, and even more remarkable to see Philipp Schlichting performing so well in this beautiful sounding hypercar, which rarely does perform, but if it does, we would really love to see that.
It's a real fan favorite, of course. We talk about it a lot in the commentary booth, as you might have noticed. So it's very nice to see it up there during this race. I have to say, Paul Poix, out of nowhere, creating a huge lead on Monaco, 6 seconds at this point. I think it was about 1 second coming into the pit stop phase. So I don't know where he got that lead. But that's a great job by him with Le Monaco now in P2. So I think some drivers might have made some mistakes with their pit stops, especially with Kanta now down in P7. So I think some of them might have miscalculated their pit stops just a little bit, which caused them to lose a big time during the race. This time around, though, Nico Notta is a bit closer here on Robin Deschamps. Can he get the move done down into turn one? Doesn't seem like it at this point, no. But he's keeping the pressure on nicely. He did force him to go a bit more defensive there. This time around, though, on the outside of Curva Grande, can he put his car on the outside, which will become the inside, of course, for... There we go. Oh, a bit of contact there. Side by side, wheel banging pretty hard there. And Schlichting, can he get the opportunity to get the move past Notta? I think he does through Lesmo 1. Yes, he does. So up to P4 there. So Notta not being able to get the move done on Robin Deschamps, but did lose out a place on Philipp Schlichting there in the Valkyrie, who is now looking at the rear end of the Cadillac V-Series right in front of him. Let's see if he's able to force Deschamps into a mistake. He goes defensive just a little bit again, trying to break the toe there into Ascari. As early on the power as possible. He avoids the curbs quite nicely there as well, so getting a lot of momentum there on the back straights. Only 3 tenths between the two. Schlichting could be up for a very well deserved podium position here in just a few moments time. He has a good exit here on towards the main straight.
Yeah, remember what we saw like a few laps ago, the top speed of the Valkyrie is really superb, especially in the slipstream. Can he make a move down the inside on turn 1? He's trying it, and I think
he gets it done.
It's tight, and it gets it done, I think, especially at least for now. So that sees him into the last podium position.
That's an amazing move and drive all around from Philipp Schlichting, who, well, I kind of said it, but not really having too much hope in it, but he does put his Valkyrie into P3 at the moment. Meanwhile, in the back, Nico Notta down the inside once again of Deschamps, trying to get the move done as well, but he's not able to do it so at this point. There's a lot of fighting there going on there around Ramonet there in the white Porsche as well. That's the leader of LMGT3, also involved in this. Oh, Notta going very well, almost losing the rear there, trying to get around Ramonet. And Deschamps now needing to help up Francesco Petzin there in P5. So Nico Notta losing out on multiple places here, trying to overtake Deschamps, who is still in P4, and Notta now all the way down in P6 with Petzin back up into P5. So this is great racing going on here, where two dogs are fighting for a bone. The other one, the third one, runs away with it. It's Philipp Schlichting up into P3. Now the question is he able to maintain that P3 for the next 6 minutes? That's going to be a long 6 minutes for him, no doubt. It's almost a second between him and Robin Deschamps, so the slipstream is not that strong at this point. Meanwhile, Petzin is only half a second behind Deschamps, so he is trying to get the move done at some point as well. Of course, the clock is slowly running out here as this race moves forward. But Notta there, the big loser, he started in P3, it was in P3, P4 at some point, and now all the way in P6, so that's not what he would have hoped for. A race winner from last time out in Fuji. And Schlichting trying to break the slipstream at this point with 5 minutes to go, trying to run away as quickly as possible from Robin Deschamps in the Cadillac. But it doesn't seem like he's able to put the pressure on just enough at this point. Meanwhile, these two guys are still going at it as well. They have been for the whole race at this point. Axel Bailey still just ahead of Stefano Dinado, half a second between the two. So I'm expecting some more fireworks between these guys as well. Oh, trying to get a move. Take a look down the inside there. At this point, our commentary is just screaming "wah" and stuff instead of describing what's going on. But that's a great couple of moves by Philipp Schlichting there. What do you think, Daniel? Is he able to keep this going?
Yeah, I think so. I'm positive. I don't think I hope I don't break it with my commentator curse, but I just hope that he gets his four wheels and his engine down into down the jacket flag in P3. Yeah, really remarkable by him. You know, he really was in the right place at the right time at all overtakes, and it was exactly the opposite for Nico Notta. You know, he was fighting for the podium and was trying to make a move stick just a couple laps ago, and is now into P6. So he not only lost to Deschamps and Schlichting, but also Pezzin, who was seemingly not really in contention for any of these places, have suddenly moved past him as well. So really not the best couple of last minutes you would have wished for.
I think Francesco Petzin was driving or fighting against Marco Canta just a couple of minutes ago. So some great pace here from him as he's trying to get the move done on Deschamps here. At least getting the nose in just a little bit as we come up towards Ferrante Ascari once again. So at this point, Robin Deschamps is pretty much acting as a rear gunner for Philipp Schlichting there in P3. And holding down the fourth in P4 against Francesco Petzin. And Nico Notta there in the back has lost out massively at this point. So losing a lot of time there on the cars ahead. Not what he would have hoped for. So we are in the final 3 minutes of this race. So only 2 or 3 laps to go at this point. after a bit of a slow burner through in the middle part of this race, the action is picking up once again rather nicely here. If we look at the overall standings in hypercar, Deschamps just under a second behind Philip Schlichting in the slipstream there. I think there has been a mistake, and that is it's a drive-through, yeah. So track limits there for Petson, taking a penalty and losing out big time there on Nico Nota and Deschamps. And P7 now ahead of Pellegrini. So that's his shot for a podium finish pretty much over at this point. Also, just noticing that Marco Canta is also a lap down, so I think he either got a penalty or some damage somewhere as well. He's in the garage even, so I think that's his race done at this point as well. So big news there for Mateusz Barzenk, of course, who's not driving, but Marco Canta also scoring 0 points. His nearest rival in the championship is not scoring any today, so that's good news for Barzenk. With the La Monaco only in P2, so he is scoring some good points there. But I think La Monaco will get the championship lead at this point, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to do some calculations after the race real quickly. But drama there for Petson, who's down to P7 after a late drive-through penalty. We are on board with Robin Deschamps, still in P3. And in the hunt for Philip Schlichting, only 4 tenths between the two. Can he close the gap just a little bit? I don't think he can, as we are in the final lap of this race. There's less than a minute to go, and the gap between Le Monaco and Poix is only 9 seconds, so I think this will be the final lap.
It should
be. Only a couple of corners left for Philip Schlichting to hold his podium there. There we have Papois coming through Lesmo 1, that is. No, Lesmo 2, apologies, towards Ascari. And there's Le Monaco 9 seconds behind him. This is the battle that we are watching. Can he keep the podium position in that Valkyrie? The clock runs to 0 in just a few moments. There is Ramonet, who has to do 1 more lap. But this is Papois, the leader of Hypercar, 9 seconds clear of second place. La Monaco up towards the Parabolica for the final time here at the Temple of Speed, Autodromo Nazionale Monza. Papois in the 83 Ferrari takes the win. It's his first win of the season after a P2 last time out in Fuji. He takes a checkered flag, and that's 25 points in the bag for him. So that's a great drive from him. It's La Monaco who takes P2, and in the back, can we see if Schlichting gets it done? And I think he does. Yes, there we go. So that's the first podium for Philip Schlichting.
It is. It's the first podium for Aston Martin and for Philip Schlichting in this series, and it's been really a special one. It's been a roller coaster of emotions, I think, always around for him. As we see the picture of Cascario crossing the line, Nico Nota into P5, Deschamps into P4, and the last in the P1 and GT3, Alex Ramonet making his way through Ascari and trying to seek the checkered flag anytime soon after going through Parabolica.
Yeah, so the final couple of corners for him as well, with Michael Thomas in P2 and Clemens Keinsel in P3 in the end. So a dominant victory here from Axel Ramonet, almost 20 seconds clear of Michael Thomas in the Porsche 992, coming through Parabolica for the final time as well. And it's a very well-deserved victory for Axel Ramonet, his second victory in a row. All of a sudden, we have a new competitor for the championship in LMGT3 with Clemens Keinsel only P3 at this point. So maybe it's a bit too late, but Axel Ramonet is putting in some very nice performances, and we could see a late dramatic switch in the championship in LMGT3 throughout the rest of the season. There is Thomas taking the checkered flag as well, and in the back it is Clemens Keinsel in the Fischer Racing Team Ferrari taking the final podium and also the final car over the start-finish straight here at Monza. Well, there we have it. That is the 1 hour of Monza here at the Virtual Motorsport Series Silver Split done and dusted. a dramatic race with a dramatic ending there. And at the end, we saw the first podium for Philippe Schlichting in P3. We saw Le Monaco taking a well-deserved P2, and Paul Poix, his first victory of the season, taking maximum points in hypercar. And LMGT3, we saw Ramonet take his second victory in a row here. There we have it at Monza. Michael Thomas, P2. After scoring 0 points the last time out, so it's a good result from him once again. Clemens Keinsel in P3, the championship leader. He does retain his lead, of course. But Axel Ramonet, I'm curious to see what he can do for the final 2 rounds of this season. Chris Finning in P4, Robin Depurin P5, Axel Bailey in P6 in the end, just ahead of Stefano Di Nardo. Marco Galetti P8, John Ivora P9, Eduardo Dorito rounding up the top 10. So he scores the final point, although he is 3 laps behind. So I'm not sure if he finished the race in the end. I think he did. So he should score a single championship point for that result. And we move to the final cars in just a few moments' time. This is a Axel Bailey in the end is scoring with some good points. There we go. The final pace are the DNS in GT3 with Roscovic DNFing quite early, and Vela and Alfano, I think, both making contact into turn 1. Paul Poix taking the win in hypercar with Luca Monaco just behind in P2. Philippe Schlichting, his first podium of the season, the first podium for the Aston Martin Valkyrie in this championship in P3. Robin Deschamps in the Cadillac V-Series in P4. Nico Notta, a difficult race and qualifying for him in P5 in the end. Casquero, very nice P6 in the Peugeot. Petsin after a late drive-through penalty in P7 with Pellegrini P8. Benjamin George P9 in the end, so he did score some points. Previato P10 in the end, 2 laps down. So George at the end did score some points after a difficult race in qualifying. Marco Ganta also DNFing, so the close championship rival from Mateusz Barazenk not scoring any points at all, so that's big news there. Eric Kier also DNFing. He remains on 1 single point in the championship, and Derezzo also DNFing. He remains on 18 points, so 3 DNFs in the hypercar field tonight as well. Meanwhile, for all the drivers who are potentially listening to us, if you want to get interviewed, want to share a bit of your story of your race, please join us in the interview waiting room on Discord. We are happy to talk to you. And I think, Daniel, we have the first one lining up already.
Yeah, I will just move him. I think, yeah. And it is Philippe Schlichting. It's Philippe. It's been a really drive of a fairy tale. It's really a fairy tale all weekend round, all race. In the qualifying, you qualified superbly, and surprisingly on P2, you had a few complications on the start, and somehow dragged this Aston Martin to his maiden podium. How was this race for you?
Exciting. I'm exhausted.
I believe.
Yeah, the start wasn't the nicest one. Not the tires. The brakes were cold, and I braked too much, and then I had a lockup, and I thought, no, I won't try turn 1, so gonna skip that part. Cost me some positions, and the lockup wasn't that nice at the beginning, so I had somewhere also a problem, so I was nearly last, and then I thought, you know what? Now I have no pressure, nothing to lose. Now I'm gonna ride to the front, and driving I saw okay, can drive with the others, and then I saw that most of the cars were on a different strategy, the half-half, but I was on full, so I could drive longer, like I don't know, I don't remember the names, but they were always in front of me, the 3 cars. So I won some time in the pits, and then I was lucky that the BMW and the Cadillac, I think they were fighting in front of me, so I could close up to them, and and then we were fighting, and I went through the first one, and then the second one on the straight, and then I thought, yeah, now I'm nervous again. So the last 5 minutes, I was scared, but I'm happy. I'm happy.
Yeah, I think the last 5 minutes must have felt like hours to drive. You know, you had an outstanding performance in the qualifying. You had like here a really even more outstanding recovery drive. Did you expect that beforehand that the car and obviously you would perform so well on this track?
I mean, if the Aston is somewhere fast, then it would have been Monza. So yeah, I was expecting to be fast. But yeah, so I think the practice sessions I already saw, ooh, those guys are also pretty quick. Yeah, but in quali I already saw, yeah, could have been pole, but the last lap was a track limit. But I thought, yeah, okay, maybe I can fight for the win. Yeah, then the start was a little mistake or some mistakes. But I knew, I have driven the car now multiple hours, and I know how to drive the car, and yeah, so and it was also much better to be at the back because I had like zero pressure. I was relaxed. I thought, yeah, okay, I'm gonna now follow the guys, and who knows, maybe there's a mistake or there's a mistake, and then gonna go through. And then suddenly was there P5 fighting for P3, and I thought, oh, now it gets serious again.
Well, I'm sure this podium must have felt like a victory to you. Steve, do you have any more questions to Philip?
Well, not really. I just I remember a chat that you put in, I think after Spa, where you said, "Well, unfortunately, we're not visiting Le Mans this season because it is the one track that I feel like I could have performed well." And here we are after Monza, taking a very well-deserved P3. So it was very exciting for our part, and a big congratulations from me on a very well-deserved podium finish.
Thank you, thank you.
Congrats, man. Enjoy this.
Good evening.
Yeah, I wish
Good
you
evening,
had
yes.
evening.
uh,
We'll
good.
see you next time.
Goodbye.
Hopefully we see us. We hear.
Yeah.
We're counting on it.
Have a nice one.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
So the next driver in the interview room is Clemens Keinsel. Clemens, you took a P3 today. You're still on 4 podiums in a row in the championship. How did the race go for you? Were you a bit disappointed? Are you happy with the result? How did it go?
Yeah, hello. First of all, good evening. Yeah, it was a quite challenging race. We, or I and the car didn't really have the pace, especially on the straights. The race at all wasn't very interesting. Thomas and Ramone just drove away in the distance in the course of the 60 minutes, and nothing really happened. Just I lacked some pace. Yeah, that's all.
Well, you're still in the championship lead if my calculations are correct, but Ramonet took his second victory here in a row. Are you scared just a little bit for your championship lead because of him, or are you just comfortable with the car and just see what happens?
Yeah, a little bit, if I'm honest. But I think the next races at Sebring and Portimao should be better for me and the Ferrari. Monza isn't really a good track for me or the car. So I hope I can fight back stronger and keep my lead till the end.
Well, it was a well-executed race nonetheless. It looked, well, as I said, it was maybe not the most entertaining or challenging race, but it's still a very nice result. Daniel, did you have any questions for Clemens here tonight?
No, not really. I think I would just want to, point out was still regarding overall it was a great result. I think the podium, you keep up your podium streak. That's something remarkable. And if you keep up, we'll see how that will go. So I hope we'll see you next time out in Sebring, and hopefully some better performance.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I have
We'll
no
keep
doubts.
our fingers crossed.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, thank you for joining us, and have a nice evening.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
you too.
Have a nice
Thank
one.
you. Bye.
Thank you.
And with that, I think we are closing down here for today. Daniel, I want to thank you once again for joining me here in a commentary booth. It's always very nice to share the booth with you, and there was enough spectacle going on to keep us both busy, I feel like. So that was very entertaining. And for you back at home, of course, thank you very much once again for joining us here at the Virtual Motorsports Series. It's always a pleasure to commentate on this lovely championship for you. And we are now back again after the little break that we had. So in 2 weeks' time, I think we will drive at Sebring, as Clemens just mentioned as well. So that should be a very entertaining track once again, with a lot of bumps, a lot of high-speed corners there. Very easy to make a mistake, of course. So that should be very entertaining as well. Of course, if you haven't already, please do drop a like on the live stream, give us a subscription, follow us on Instagram and all the good stuff, or join the Discord, of course, if you want to. You're always more than welcome to join us. For us, Sunday we are driving in driving the Gold Series, also at Sebring. So that's please do join us if you are able to for that race as well. Should be very entertaining there. And with that, I think we're going to close it down here. Daniel, thank you once again very much for joining me. My name is Sverre Kolman. Joined with me is Daniel Krylov. There we go. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Goodbye.